to answer it by talking to the eBay mine tree. You can also click to do it on Telegram here, and it will open the Telegram bot for you. And on the Telegram bot, you can actually send hello, test 1, 2, 3. You can actually send a voice note, and it will transcribe the voice note for you, and it will ingest it. So if you want, you can also just send your answer via voice. But please answer 1 or 2 or 3 or any of these questions, because we're going to see how it comes out in the graph in a little bit. But for now, I'll give you guys a minute to answer, say the voice note on the Telegram chat. I don't really mind how you do it. Just please put some information in. Can I give you 1 more minute? Are we good?
Almost. Hold on.
No rush, we have one.
Okay.
Should I tell him who I am?
You can if you want. It will pick up your Telegram ID if you're doing it on Telegram. If you're doing it on here, it probably won't. So yeah, just say who you are. But what's important is that the mine tree gets the information. Okay, we good?
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Can we keep going? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So this will all become clear why we're doing this in about 20 minutes. But I will first do a little presentation about bonfires and what we're trying to do here, so you guys have a bit more of an idea. Great. Okay. So hey, I'm Joshua. At Bonfires, we're trying to do something quite ambitious, which is to build a federated network of knowledge graphs. All right. So what you're contributing to right now is a knowledge graph, and we want to give knowledge graphs to as many people as possible because they're useful, and I'll show you how, to create a network of these knowledge graphs so we can essentially allow communities to document their own lives, their own work, their own ambition, and turn them into a useful object. Let me just turn that sound off 1 second. So, we're trying to basically build a new tool set for communities, in particular on-chain communities. And the problem is that right now, everybody is using AI, right? But they're doing it alone, which is causing all kinds of problems with things like AI psychosis and people getting too excited about ideas that maybe won't work. The AI just tells them they're great. And we're also doing it without sharing ideas, right? And that's really important, is that sometimes what I think and what my colleague thinks, bringing them together, we make a new idea which is better than our individual ideas. So using AI alone is actually kind of a danger for progress. We're also using them without sharing ideas between people, because the infrastructure doesn't really exist at the moment for my AI knowledge base and potentially your AI knowledge base to do any interoperation. So not only are we using models and agents alone, which is causing problems, but we're also using them in silos, so we're not even able to share our context. And we are paying lots of money to large megacorps who are dominating the world and dominating compute and dominating everything, because they have all the access to all of the knowledge and all of the compute, and no one else is really spinning up their own local sovereign nodes. So everybody is using AI, but it's not really on the terms that we want. It's not really on our terms. So what we're trying to build with bonfires as a solution is a tool that lets people, groups of people, collectivize around AI. So to get everybody's ideas, for example, you have Ipê City right now. You've got a group of people collecting their knowledge together, leveraging your collective group context. We want to be able to give your group, Ipê City, the ability to share that knowledge with the rest of the world, so that if you learn something about governance, or you learn something about the environment, or any research you do, perhaps you can actually give that to other people, which is, of course, how we progress. But also we want to develop an economy around this, so that you can actually earn all that work. Because the work that you're doing now by messaging that bot, you're taking all of your learned experience, all of your knowledge, and you're turning it into a sentence for me, and it's going into a knowledge graph. That's great, everyone can benefit from it, but if you give that to somebody else and they benefit from it, probably you should earn some money. And that's where all of this comes together. By using a bonfire, you get a group of people together, you collect a bunch of knowledge, you can get paid if you share it with the rest of the world. So very simply how it works is it takes your information wherever it's from, like transcriptions from group chats. We have it hosted on the website right now, but we also have it on Telegram, from forums and online platforms, and also just like documents, MD files. You can even scrape Excel files and lots of things. Now, this is actually a little bit old. We've got more platforms available now. It takes all of that data and in real time puts it into structured context, ingests it into structured context, which is the knowledge graph that I'm going to show you. And so basically, we want to use AI system as a collective, as a way to turn your work that you're doing every day. Say you're using using Telegram to coordinate your group chat. You're recording the meetings that you're having about your team. You're making documents, internal documents, or you're scrolling Twitter and doing research by doom scrolling all of the new posts from all the AI leaders. Like, that's all useful. So if you can find a way to turn that into something that your AI can harness, that's the first step. Then you want to share it with everybody else. You want to use this data as a substrate to make things happen, to build tools on top of it. So if your bonfire now knows what everybody's working on and now knows what everybody's concerned about, now you can build tools directly from that knowledge database that helps to solve your problems. And then from that asset, that knowledge asset that you now have, you can actually create products, sell the data, it's your data, sell it to whomever, and generate money from it. And here, the no token is actually our monetization route, our incentive from the bonfire side, which I'll explain in just a sec. But the point that I'm trying to make is bonfire is a tool that you use, you own, and it's going to create this knowledge asset that means you can share it and earn without the need for our token, but our token is on top. And so generally, this is how it might work, right? This is you guys, you're currently putting your data in, this is a bonfire. From this bonfire, you can use the structured data to create products, to create tools, to create useful things coordinate your team and maybe build a hackathon around. And so as your data is being structured, you can do things like, these are some examples, right? Memory as a service, which is what is Ipê City thinking today? Someone who's not attending Ipê City but will be there in 2 weeks' time might want to understand what people are doing, so they can subscribe to your bonfire and say, hey, like, I'll give you $1 a day so I can find out what people are talking about. You can do, I'll show you in just a second, you can do specific regions of the graph that are made accessible. So say, for example, you guys have focused a lot on AI tooling in this workshop or in the coming weeks. On your graph, there's going to be, Florianopolis, cloud governance, AI tooling, these different areas of the graph. You can isolate that and turn that into a package and sell that and say, this is the Ipê City AI tooling knowledge. And from that, you can actually generate these things called hyperbuilds, which I'll show you in just a second. But I wanted to demonstrate to you guys that there are two ways to use structured data, and these are the products which people can subscribe to and agent for people using X402 payments, which are on-chain and super simple, or you can even monetize it in a more fiat-focused way. But essentially, now you've structured context, you've got this bonfire, which is now a structured data set. AI services can then say, hey, I want to have access to that knowledge. I want to know what Ipê City knows, and they can pay for it. And what we do is we track all of that usage across all the bonfires, and we distribute a token, the knowledge token. So if your information is retrieved by somebody else, they might pay you directly in dollars or USDC. But we see that, we track that on our backend, and we just distribute tokens to you by having a knowledge query across the network. So basically, knowledge tokens, which is what we're building towards the knowledge network, are emitted to your bonfire, and you get rewarded for the curation. So that's a very brief overview of the full stack of the bonfires, which are this useful ingestion tool that's taking all your data and turning it into something you can use, helping you turn it into products, but then also earning from it. And that's the full scope of what we're trying to build at bonfires. Cool. Any questions on that? Please feel free to just shout out and tell me things or ask me things if you have questions.
I have a question about I don't know if you can see about the roadmap. Where are you currently in the whole grand scheme of things?
The whole grand scheme, it is a grand scheme. Yeah, where we're at on the grand scheme is we are, let's say, here, which is we created bonfires, people are making, we have over 100 bonfires right now. Rodrigo, who's out there with you guys, is using a bonfire, and he's using it on his own website as a data backend to power his chatbot. We have several products already live, people using the data as a backend to produce products. We've generated over 500 users on the subscriptions of the product, so that over 500 people have paid in X402 payments to use this data. And we're actually just at the point now where we're essentially going to be thinking about launching this in the next 2 to 3 months.
But do you already track who's contributing?
Yes and no. So for this to work, for the knowledge network, which is the tracking of all of this and the incentives, for the knowledge network to work, we need blockchain attestations of the contributions and blockchain attestations of the retrievals. Right now, we do track contributions, but we only track them in a non-blockchain way, just through sort of like user IDs and sort of like basically every time the data is contributed, and I'll show you how it's structured in a second, there's a lot of information in the backend that says what user provided that data, when, and where it was used in subsequent queries, but it's not attached to the blockchain yet, and so we're doing that first before we also. That's all going to be programmatic through the blockchain.
So in our case, for Ipê Hub, for example, we would have to track on our side for now, and maybe we can assign points or something like that for now, and maybe later we can send over this info, or is it going to be we start to reward people from 0 at some point?
Yeah, so the way we're going to do it is firstly, we're already tracking like stuff on our end. We have all the analytics to say who's been contributed to your bonfire, how many messages they sent, and where that ended up. So we can use that as a proxy, but because it's not fully verified blockchain attestations, we're not going to distribute we're not going to start the emissions and do the distribution to that. We're going to start again at zero, but all of those beta users, which you guys are going to get incentives for being beta users to say, hey, thanks, you bootstrap the network, here's tokens to you, to your bonfire, you distribute them how you wish. We have a schema that says who contributed what, and so you can distribute it like that if you wish, or Stefano can get all the tokens and you guys can ask him.
Okay, then we can actually say that using Ipê Mine Tree right now, it's kind of like farming no token in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hear that, everybody? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the incentives are good, right? Like, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Okay. Yeah, and is there any other questions on what I just presented?
Question. When are you coming down to Ipê?
Huh?
When are you coming to Floripa?
I came like 2 years ago and I would love to go back. I was just in Argentina for like 6 months and I didn't get a chance to come over.
Oh, no.
So when?
End of the year, perhaps? Are you guys doing all year round?
Yeah.
I like it. We are gonna make sure that we have a strong community waiting for you. By then, maybe the tree mine has been populated enough that it will convince you to come.
Look, hopefully by then we'll have launched our token and it will be a crazy time.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? It could be crazy. Okay. I'm just going to show you a bit more about the knowledge network to show you how that works. Seeing as we are talking about it. Okay. So this is a very rough image. All right, so this is your bonfire, or maybe this is your bonfire, and you guys are here doing things, collaborating, discussing, researching, whatever, using your agents to do it because your bonfire is useful. The bonfire is generating this knowledge, which if you decide to share it with the knowledge network, right, is being fed to the knowledge network. And this one here, you can see they feed knowledge to the knowledge network, and their knowledge is retrieved by this bonfire. So perhaps you guys over here, or you guys over here, want discussions about information about AI tooling, and our bonfire has a bunch of really good knowledge. So you query the bonfire can query the knowledge network, or you can just directly query the knowledge network. Other agents, open floors, whatever, can also query knowledge network because it's an MCP. And it basically retrieves data that's most relevant. If that data is retrieved, we track that. We say, yeah, you get a point. At the end of the month, we distribute incentives, we distribute tokens, and they go to the bonfire. And then the bonfire decides who gets that knowledge. Sorry, who gets those tokens. So this is you guys research, collaborating, and discussing. And just a bit, because I know you guys are all, a lot of you guys are using core code, perhaps maybe some of you are using open core. I want to show you this as well, which is, it's bonfires is three things. A protocol is three things. Firstly, it's a graph, which is the data backend. Secondly, we have our own agent framework. Our agents are really good. The agents here, I believe, Stefano, that you're using our agents through this front end, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I would like to, I'm trying to see the outputs here because we do also, like, we've got quite sophisticated tooling on the Telegram side. Right, so it's quite good. But the Telegram side, let me show you the Telegram side. The Telegram side does have quite a lot of features. So, anyway, those are our agents. Okay, so we have our agents, which you can use, you don't have to use, you can use whichever ones you wish. You can use open core, you can use iron core, and our agents do not code. Our agents are not CLI agents, they're hosted and they're useful for interfacing with the bonfire to get knowledge in and to read it, but they don't do any coding. So if you want coding done, you would have to currently use a CLI agent such as an open core or a core code, and you can connect to bonfire as a data source. So you have the data source, the graph, the bonfire, you have our agents, and then you have our interfaces. And our interfaces are ways to access the products. I'm going to show you the platform that we use, which is a great success. And I'm going to show you some of the hyperblogs. I'm going to show you the graph explorer. But again, that's just our interfaces. We have chosen this as a way to interface with our graphs, but you can build your own, you can use your own agents. You just connect to the graph, and that's what's important here. So on this image, the open core here is essentially doing its daily work. It's going out, coding, it's reading Twitter or doing whatever you're paying it to do, and it's taking that data and submitting it into a bonfire. The bonfire is structuring it, and the open core reads from the bonfire in real time. And that's really, so you just essentially plug it in as a memory backend. If any of you guys are using open core and want to try it out, let me know. I don't know if Zoid is there. Is Zoid there?
Sorry?
Zoom? No, he's not
Yep.
Zoom is not here, man.
Not in Florida.
No, he's not here in this room right now.
Okay, cool. Zoom is using a bonfire for his open core, or he was, I don't know if he still is. So go and ask him.
I would like
about
one.
it.
I'd like one. I would, Iggy would like one.
Iggy,
Yes.
great. Message me. This is my Telegram.
Where?
Yeah, on the screen.
Oh, got it.
If anyone wants to message me, you message me on that. Yeah, you can have one. It should, in theory, save you a lot of money as well, because it's going to use the context better. But of course, you know, overall likes to take a lot of money to be kept. You got it?
Got it, thank you.
Cool. Great. Okay. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff we've done for recent hackathons. We did this one, maybe some of you participated. If you did, let me know. I'd be interested to pull up your results somewhere. So this is .md hackathon from Ethereum Foundation. And basically, they came out and said, we want to do an agentic hackathon where agents can submit and agents can judge. And so they made this website, which is a dot. I didn't know you could do this, by the way, but you can apparently .md domains. I think it's that Moldova. Anyways, I pointed their agent at it, and the agent would read this, and it would get information as to how to submit. And then they did agentic hackathon, they did an agentic build using core code, submitted to their folio. And from here, our agents were used to judge this whole hackathon. And I'm just going to share my whole screen and let you in on the back end of how it works, because I want you guys, if we're doing, I know we're doing it all the time, and I know the Ipê City is going to be running for quite some time. So it would be quite dope if you guys thought about using our tools that would be okay, so this is NSAI. They provide compute and stuff. And so basically every one of the partners on here, you can see them there. They all basically provide money and descriptions of what they wanted to see built upon. And so Venice was here. This is Venice. The Venice's price track, they gave $11,000. They had this particular track, private agents, trusted actions. Now, everybody that submitted to this had an agent and submitted, they gave a skill to their agent to submit to their folio. What happened on the back end, on our side, is the judges were given a Telegram group chat. One of our agents is in there, you can see this is a bonfire agent. And they basically came here and they said, all right, this is what I want our judging to look like. She gave some feedback on the tone. The agent said, great. He said, what do you want? He said, here's the track title, here's the track concept. I assume they just generated this on their own side. And our agent's like, great, tell me what you think of this. And it suggested some price tiers, suggested a bunch of stuff. And they said, yeah, we like this, but keep the name as this. It's close. Right, see how it's changed. They went back and forth. We sent more documentation. And the agent is basically in real time, helping them to understand exactly how to structure the output. And what's happened is at this point here, so once you confirm, I'll create a track and try this. She said, yeah, this is good, I confirm. So what our agent did is created an MD, which I'll show you, which is a rubric of how to judge the hackathon. So this is a document, this is a document, an MD file, which is now like an enshrined document which says, this is how we want to evaluate it, here's our weighting and our criteria, and it had different weighting criteria for the whole thing. And you can see that there were two documents. There's the product rubric here and the technical rubric. And the way our agents did it was they would essentially review the product to see if it fit what was on the submission. If the submission says, I want to change the world, did the product description. And then they did a technical description as well, which is another rubric which I can show you. And that was for the actual code review itself. So our agents orchestrated with a code review agent, essentially an open door, that would run the code. And that code would be ran and judged against this rubric. So the judge here basically went back and forth with our agent. Yeah, do you like it? She said yes. Produces the rubric. These rubrics could be changed in real time. They can be updated as they wish, just talking to the agent on Telegram. And then what happened is, once they submitted, yes, we finalized, the website was also updated because the agent was connected to the website by API. So if the partners, which they did in that, wanted to change some of the wording or change some of the prizes, they could just talk to the agent in the group chat and it would update the website. So this is what happened. And we had all of these partners here, all of these, they all went through the same process, they all used the bonfire. And then at the end of it, once all the submissions were in, we're judging again. And as you can see, there's a lot of messages in here. But basically, how this worked is our agents first did a light review, which was just scanning all the 680 submissions across all of the tracks. There's actually over 9,000 reviews of them. To decide if the pack was good enough to be fully reviewed. So it's called a light review. And so a light review was basically, does their GitHub have enough information? Was their submission complete? Was what they submitted relevant to the price track? All this light review stuff that was quicker and cheaper. Then they got a top 50 or a top 30, depending on the track. Maybe that top 30, top 50, I'm going to try and find it here, but it might take some time. To the judges and said, do you want to proceed with the deep review? I'm going to try and find it here. Okay, yeah. So the deep review queue, they're saying here, do you like, this is the light review. Okay, so here's the light review screening, 153 projects scored, 0 error, ready for deep review. The top 30 projects, these are all submissions through the hackathon. Here's the top 30 by light score, which is without running the code, it's just doing the product. They got all of these reviews. And said, like, if you want to use it, like, approved, etc., light screening, all this is so awesome, he's super happy. And basically, they went back and forth, and they said, yeah, let's do it. So they chose the top 50, and they ran it. And so this is what happened, is basically every period it was set, automated, every hackathon project was run, and there were a deep review put through. So you can see here just an example, first deep review. The product 90 out of 100, it was 95 in light screening. So it was marked down from his light screening effort, and it's all super convincing. And you can ask the agent to send you a CS. So I wanted to show you this because we're really proud of how this went. It's awesome, and like I said, they ran over 9,000 light and deep reviews. I think it collected 300 deep reviews. We spent over $9,000 on compute, which thankfully Venice gave us for free as part of the hackathon. So yeah, that was how that went, and I wanted to show you that as a use case. Did anybody participate?
What was the question?
Did anybody participate in this hackathon?
I think not from here, but yeah, Zug and the other guys, they did over FD. Yeah, not anybody in the room right now.
Okay, cool. Well, then sorry, if any questions, stop me, by the way. Okay, so I want to show you this, because I think you might find this interesting. So that was a great success. Synthesis went really well. I'm happy with it. And then the Ethereum Foundation themselves were like, okay, we want to do more. We want to do more agentic stuff. So we developed this always-on hackathon idea, and I think that we can scale this. And I think that like Ipê City should do one of these. I think like all sort of communities should be doing one of these. Well, basically, you have your main bonfire here, this orange one here, and that is just being built over time by community, from documentation, from experts. This is the Ipê mine tree. Right. So if you're building up the Ipê mine tree, you can use it as a source of information to help coordinate you guys or whatever, to help make your lives easier in your sessions, to do it for research, whatever. But that same bonfire can also be used to generate a hackathon rubric, like, okay, what do we want to see built? What's the quality metrics? What's the outcomes we want to see? What tech stack do we want to use? Maybe there's people in Ipê City that are sponsoring, and you can use their tech stack and all this stuff. So what happens is your hackers can apply by getting a hack. Well, I'm just going to show you this. I forgot to show you. Sorry. By the way, I'm sorry if there's lots of new information. We're doing a lot.
No worries. We'll feed it to our agents anyway. So.
Good.
Just
Here's the
kidding.
money.
No, just kidding.
Nothing all of us. Okay. I can't really show you the graphic, guys. Okay, so this was the graph from the synthesis hackathon. From all of the tracks, it was aggregating all of the tracks. This is like a meta graph of all the tracks. Basically, I'll show you how the graph works. You guys have your own one of these. I'm trying to find actually the slide for it. Let me just see if I can get one so I can put it on screen.
So we have one too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's put on Ipê Hub
Yeah.
so people can see.
Is it possible to embed it on our?
Almost certainly, yes.
Okay.
Okay, here we have it. Okay, I'm going to show you. You guys have been actually using it as well. Okay, so this is your graph design cap. Matthias, come here. Yo. Look at you, very connected.
Yeah.
Joshua initiates Ipê City bot session before workshop. Great, that was me. Okay, so I want to show you how this thing works and how it's constructed. So it currently is constructed through what we call an episodic construction. So every 20 minutes or so, and we should see pretty soon a new episode being created. Perhaps it's this one, and the timing. Oh yes, perhaps it's this one. Yes. Okay. So you know I told you guys to like put stuff in. So this is the episode from that. So it's meant to be. The Da Vinci governance protocol. Not sure who's worked on that. IMT. Rodrigo, this is you. Okay. So what it's done is it's taken all those things you've said to it, and it's summarized it into what we call an episode here. And the episodes are these big blue dots on the graph, right? And that is basically an ingestion vector. So all this information is summarized in here. All the stuff, all those messages taken, it basically summarizes it into a big summary and ingests that episode into the graph. Once it's in the graph, it extracts entities, which are specific things mentioned in the episode that might be useful to the graph. So it can be people, like for example, Rodrigo. It can be things, like for example, the token. It can be ideas, like perhaps the Ipê passport, right? And those nodes are generated again by LLM, and relationships are drawn between them to see how they relate. That is how the graph is constructed, and it's what we call a flat ontology, which means that there is a very flat structure to it. It's essentially events, the episodes, like a moment, and entities, which could be anything. It could be people, ideas, places, projects, whatever. And the reason we do that is so that this information and this graph, which is right now about a variety of things in Web3, tech, etc., can have the same structure as a graph that is potentially about something completely different. So I could have a graph, for example, which is about a sports team, right? And me and my sports team are running a club and we're trying to figure out how to take subscriptions from everybody to pay for the football kids. The method that I do to make that happen might be useful as an accounting metric for you guys to take money from people in you guys' city. But if those two graphs are very, very structured, like this is a sports team and this is a network state, then they can't interoperate. So it's very important that you have the flattest possible structure so that these two types of data can interoperate. And that's why we literally just have episodes, events, ingestion moments, and entities, which is anything. That's the graph. So I don't know why it's doing all this jank shit at the bottom there, but let me just refresh that. Okay, great. So yeah, in fact, you guys, I'm gonna send this to you, Stefan, so you can share this. I don't know if it's private or not, but
Yeah, I checked here, it is private, and even by logging with my email, I couldn't see the graph.
We can make it public if you want, so everybody can see it, but that means that everybody in the world can see it. If you don't mind, then that should be fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Johnny, you're in the audience.
Up to you. You're the boss on the. Well, Rodrigo is the.
I mean, Jerry, you know what?
Rodrigo is the boss of the bonfire, and Stefano is the COO. He makes it happen.
We are the ambassadors in Brazil.
Really, yeah, that thing could be sold with a bonfire. We need to talk with Josh.
Rodrigo became the bonfire guy because everything was about a bonfire until now. Oh, now, I mean, yeah.
We made it.
Yeah, we made it.
Rodrigo, I wish we had money.
Don't worry.
Ipê token, I'd like to know about this. This would be cool. We could distribute this to the graph for people that contribute to the mind tree.
Josh, I have a question. Is it possible to integrate into products? So we can, for example, I'm making an app and I can offer my clients to have their own bonfire. Do you have anything like a API connection or OAuth or something like that?
Yeah, that's what this clock is an auth. We have OAuth, we also have an SDK and an API, so you can use the data, the bonfires graph as a data source. We had a few folks who are basically exploring using the bonfire to scale up their business. So one guy is essentially being paid to do business intelligence for some yacht company in Europe that doesn't know anything about anything. And basically paying him a lot of money to aggregate their business data and find out intelligence from it. And he's going to use the bonfire for it, and it's going to cost him basically nothing on the bonfire side, and he's going to make massive profits on the other side. And great, for us, that's great. So the knowledge that he gets in that bonfire is his and proprietary, and he can make it private, so that him and the yacht people have access. But when Knowledge Network is live, he'll also have the option to share it for access to some. Perhaps the yacht guys want to start generating revenue on their knowledge and they can do so. But that's up to them. It's your bonfire, so you do as you wish. Okay, I'm going to show you some more features about what you can do with graph. And again, we're going to figure out how to make this, what solution you want on the privacy side. But okay, I'll show you as an example this one first. Okay, so for ETA older, which maybe some of you, I know we're drinking with that. We got a full stack solution for them where basically we'll talk it on stage and unconscious, and we set up a bunch of agents so that they could have this real-time injection of that stuff. So, you guys, when you're out at Ipê City and you're chatting with folks and you want that information to be useful to other people, just like literally, that's not fun. You can just get your phone and like voice record into voice memos, right, like this, and you can direct all of that audio to the Telegram agent and it can transcribe it like I showed you earlier. Or you can use the Telegram agent's app and voice like there and it will transcribe it. So like, you can make it as easy as you want. You can send documents in. you get it straight to Twitter, whatever. Just basically use it as much as possible because you're going to grow this graph. And so the Boulder bonfire was really comprehensive. They used it after the event. They used it for like basically doing retroactive analysis and research on what people said. And during the conference, we had these things called hyperblogs, which I was just explaining to you before. So what a hyperblog is it's essentially a blog generated from the graph. So here's one, the birthday party test, which when we were at Boulder, we said, if your AI agent can't organize a birthday party, then it's not very good at coordination. So it's like, can your agent organize a birthday party as the minimum viable coordination vector? That was
much easier than it seems. No, it is much easier than it looks organizing a party.
I mean, it's a good test, right? Like, you don't bring ice, you don't know what to drink. Everyone always forgets ice. Like, your agent remembers ice and knows what to do. So the way it works here is you basically choose portions of your graph to expose to the hyperblog creation process. So here, this is all the same graph. This is all the ETH folder graph. So in your example, this would just be the eBay mine tree graph. Well, what you do is you basically choose specific areas on that graph that people can query. So here we chose the public goods and governance part, and I'll just show you this. So this is the ETH folder graph. We're going to call it the, I don't know, what do you want to know? Security. This is a style block, so when your blogs are created, like, how do they sound? Right, like, keep it simple. You can have that way you want. We have the photo generation based on a prompt, and here it's a bit more complex, and I won't go too deep into it. But basically, the hyperblog I showed you is a blog format. We have these templates that you can use to generate different types of formats. So you can generate a song, like you have the same query, go through the same endpoint, but it's going to be a template to produce a song rather than a blog. You can do cards, so it's just very small. You can do blogs. You can also do evaluations for hackathons. So this would mean, again, using the portion of the graph, you submit a GitHub and say, like, you know, is this a good hack or whatever? And it's going to give you an evaluation, scrapes your GitHub, compares it to the graph, and it gives you a score. This is just a blog. This is card, which is a shorter blog, and this is a song, which is specifically about like making it lyric. Right? So you create the data room. And then what you're doing is you're choosing a node on the graph that you want it to query every time. So it's a bit jank here, but privacy and security explorations. There you go. So I would click that, I'd create the data room, and now, and that's what I'll just do it. So now I've created the security and privacy data room. And we've put here a charge of $1 per blog, which is some compute costs. But essentially, you can just create a blog, and you can create a blog with a prompt. So it's like, what are some good techniques to not get hacked as a new user? Right, I want it to be short length, and I'm going to create the blog by signing the transaction export royalty payments. Hopefully, I have money on that. Okay. And this is now creating a blog. It's being generated by searching the graph with my prompt, with the template, through the particular point on the graph that I mentioned, and it's going to produce quite good content. So you can do the same thing with your bonfire, right? And I think we can do that now. So this is the Ipê mic tree. Who wants to be the person to customize it? I'll do it on my screen. We can do it.
Let's customize it. Let's create something. So we have people here. We could create like an RPG maybe with the characters that
RPG with characters.
Yeah, let's take the characters that we have and create a story.
What type of RPG?
A techno tropic.
Okay. I'll say.
So, wait. On that way, Carlos, who's our team, maybe some of you know him, he's been making an RPG where your bonfire is the world and your agents are characters, and you can explore the world and do cool shit. So I'm going to get him to tell you about that. Perhaps I can get him to tell you about that
Yes.
in this call. But this is specifically like written content, so it's not going to be a game. But you could do something like Adventures of Ipê City.
Yes. Chronicles.
Chronicles of Ipê City.
How do you want the starboard to be like a whimsical?
It's just
Like,
Techno optimist city world,
in the beach with flip flops.
but in the beach with flip flops.
so that's going to be the prompt. This is going to be the
No, let's just see what it
that's
comes
going to be your
out.
hyperlink. This is like how you want it to stand. This is how you want it to stand.
So it's something like make a PlayStation 1 style RPG.
Just show you a little bit of the room. Come to Floripa, man.
Let's go blog. This is like a simple.
Yeah, it's a demo. It's a demo, but we're gonna play with it a lot. We already have.
So bear in mind that there is not a lot of quality on there. So right now what we're doing is we're choosing the center node, which is where when you talk to the bonfire, it's going to go through that output. So we could just literally do Ipê City. Okay, so now we have an Ipê City blog. Data room. Right, so the first blog, what do we want it to be?
Introduction of world and characters.
World building, yeah.
World building. Cara, muito foda isso. Ih, já tá, né?
Okay. Ipê City,
City world.
fantasy world, and its characters. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we do a medium length because the long ones do get very long.
Yeah.
And basically, you just have to pay with a USDC $1 exploration points.
Cabuloso.
Okay, so that's gonna. Oh no, a typo on the first one. It's okay. Okay, so that's gonna generate. It might take a minute, so we'll come back to it.
Is it come with images?
Yeah, it will generate an image as well.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
But we haven't got a particularly exciting image model on there. We want to upgrade the image model so we have a better one, but right now.
No, don't worry. We'll build on it. So.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, whilst that's generating, let me just send a message to see if I can.
Oh, you're showing another graph. Maybe you can show that graph and then come back.
Yeah, I can show you the one I just made. Here you are. What are some good techniques to not get hacked as a user? Whether this is coming from the ETH folder one. And so it's 700 words, that's 4 minutes to read. Okay, so I'm going to send this in so you guys can actually read it at your own. I'm going to give it to you. You can pass it over to people if they want to see it. That's the older one. So you can see here that like people are mentioned directly, right? Because they're in the graph. And so here you create a little narrative. It's like welcome, everything's great, everyone's really happy, we're all sharing. But the reality is that there's a permanent record, which means that okay, whilst we're all having fun, we're actually giving away our data into a permanent blockchain record. And, you know, that's a problem, right? So it's made this nice little narrative, pulling it from direct, you know, whether it's zero knowledge proofs or BSET, and you can see how this is directly pulling from the information that was at the conference itself. So it's really exciting to see that you can just get very powerful, specific context information. If you just ask the group, the board itself, it might be quite sort of general, but this is really powerful. Okay, let's see if the other one.
It's all right. You have to.
Do we have any questions, by the way?
How many people are on your team?
There are currently 6 of us. Everyone's technical expertise, so that's how.
It's okay. It's so you're doing a great job.
Absolutely.
We're doing okay. We're doing okay. We're excited.
Yeah.
I want to go and check your graph real quick. Oh, actually, okay. Whilst we're waiting for that, I'm going to show you this. So you guys who are doing more on the agent side, you can actually see what tools you have available when you use a bonfires agent. So this is the agent config panel where you now have this. The Ipê Mindtree has this, and Stefano and whomever else is going to be an admin, you have access to changing this. So I'll just very quickly show you how powerful these things are. So your agent is the Telegram agent right now, right? So you see here platform. You can see this is the Telegram. Yeah, Telegram, we have Discord. We have integrated with Slack, which is not on this, and you can use others. So the agent itself is called Mindtree. This is its system comms. Okay, it's a community intelligence platform. It guides members. Then you can choose what platform you want it on. You use your own Telegram bot tokens, and we have this reporting channel. Okay, so here's some of the features around like policies for ingesting data and talking to it. So you can have your agent be a part of groups. You can have it not be a part of groups. You can restrict that here. You can have it be able to be spoken to in DMs or not. You can restrict that here. You have this thing called silence mode, which is where it just ingests, but it doesn't reply. You can have it so that people can talk to it, but it doesn't. So having in a group chat as like a helpful assistant, it's not going to pick up what everybody's saying. And same again in DMs. You can have it as a helpful assistant in DMs, but it won't pick up what everybody's saying. You can have specific users are allowed to talk to it. Specific users are allowed to make schedules, like, hey, every hour scrape the target for information. Same again for DMs. You can have specific servers for group chats. So right now, this is specific group chat here that it's enabled for, and you can have all kinds of policies around topics where it only replies in certain topics and scores for certain topics. That's what we use from the synthesis hackathon to good effect. You have image ingestion, document ingestion, audio ingestion, image generation. So your agent, the Ipê Mindtree, can generate images. Please don't spam that. It's
Okay.
Actually, we have task scheduling, so you can say, yeah, do that. It is turned off for you almost for some reason, but I will ask if that's intentional or not. And then we have a bunch of tools. So we have already MCP tools enabled for scraping the web, searching graphs, other graphs, aggregating meeting transcripts from Fireflies. You can use your own Fathom or whatever. Like fetching tweets, searching past messages, doing scheduling, looking up users. The hackathon review tool is a very specific one. This one's great. Agent personality. I'll show you how this works. You can talk to the agent and say, like, I want you to be less verbose. I want you to be more funny. And it's going to take the message and it's going to update on the back end here. You can see that this is being, in fact, written in Brazilian, in Portuguese, sorry. So you can see here that the personality traits are actually automatically updated by the agent just by talking to it in the chat. So you have this feature called agent personality, and it has these different trait styles, so communication, behaviors, this stuff, and it basically makes that its personality, and you can just do that here manually, or you can just talk to it, and it's really good. There's this popular GitHub repo called Humanizer. You literally just send it that, and it will just update its personality according to its really good.
Yeah, the problem we have now is that Stefano doesn't have access to all of this. So
yes, Stefano needs to get his email address verified so we can give him access to this.
Yes, I sent to you on the group, but I will send again.
Yeah. I will chat with the team and get that sorted ASAP.
Okay.
So, again, I'm just doing the face thing. I'm not on the back end. You can get your agents to post on Notebook to update your ClickUp. You can query the blockchain yourself. And we also have skills as well, which you can make your own custom skills to do whatever you want, and you can just give them to the agent. So, bunch of cool things there. Let's have a look. Okay.
Oh, yes.
That image is bigger over there. That's a bigger. Nice. That's a fucking Deku tree.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wow.
let's have a look.
Wow.
Economics, technology, social.
Ipê token, yeah. Wanderer, architect, yeah, very nice.
Are these from your graph? These words?
I think it's translating some things differently, but we get the gist of it. Maybe it's transforming the terms into RPG terms. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wanderers are the ones that come to know a little bit of Ipê city. Architects are the ones that are building the city, building the protocols, building the technologies, and yeah, it's like the roles.
So to evolve from a wanderer into an architect of this new world, one must understand the blueprint.
Yeah.
Right. So, you can imagine that this graph has been going for a couple of days, not a huge amount of people using it, not everybody using it, but if this is used over months and everybody's using it, it's producing really, really complex, very specific, rich output. And again, these are just super simple tools that we've made to interact with the graph, but the graph is the asset, right? That's what I was saying at the beginning. You use it because it's helpful. It's going to help you run your workshop. It's going to help you do all this cool stuff. But just by using it, you get the graph, and then the graph becomes the asset, and you can do a bunch of those shit on top of it.
Amazing, yeah.
Really cool.
I'm going to send this to you as well, so you can send it to folks.
Yeah, we can publish on Ipê Hub.
Yes, let's publish.
How do we do that? And I do it for myself.
If you go to Ipê Hub, I don't know if you got an agent, you can just tell your agent to install the npm config, and then it will submit it.
Okay, I'll let you do it. I sent you the link. Cool. Okay, do I have anything else I want to show you guys? Let me just check.
Yeah, before you went to show the graph, the mind graph, you were gonna schematics or something.
For the always on hackathon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I just was, yes, you really are paying attention to these, because I was just about to show it. So, okay, cool.
Yep, that one, yeah.
All right, so we've got the always on hackathon. Now, at the top here, you can imagine this is the Ipê mine tree. This is the bonfire which is being filled all the time by people. Then you might run a hackathon from this Ipê mine tree. You might have people to build cool shit. So what you're doing is you're basically creating a prize pool. This blue bit here. You're saying, right, okay, we're going to give away some money to people for participating in this hackathon. Hopefully you get some sponsors who maybe have their tech that they want to add into it. You use our judging tech to create a rubric, which is like, this is how we want to, what we find important in our hack. Then people can come along and use the hyperblocks mechanism, the thing that I just showed you, where you can submit like a prompt and it generates from the graph. You can do that same thing as there was an evaluation one, where you can actually submit your GitHub and a prompt. And so you can submit your GitHub and say, like, good. You're going to submit to the graph.
Tá perguntando se pode trazer duas founders para dar uma olhada hoje, como é que funciona isso.
Pega um day pass. Quem que são?
Não sei.
Provavelmente.
Fala que tem cursos day pass.
You can have it on bonding. And basically what happens is your submission, you get a new
Não, hoje não. Não, ele está participando como arquiteto, o Dayo. Ele é arquiteto.
Aí ele quer trabalhar ali.
So basically you have this protocol that you put down but now if someone wants to win, they have to submit to the hackathon. By basically, everybody goes into the class. And then the prize pool can be accessed on whatever agency you want. You can pay, you can week, It can be every week, every month, every year, whatever you want. And those prizes can be distributed accordingly. So you can say, like, every week we're going to do another prize and over time, every month, every year. And so basically just by having the prize pool available, people will have to access it, which will increase the size of the prize. And people will be able to just do that in real time, automated. Then you might also have, for example, an expert on a particular topic who is using their own bonfire to basically map out their own ideas. And that can be an always-on mentor, which the hackers can go and pay again, like Hyperblocks, we have other features which I'll show you in a sec, for like real-time discussions with that agent to help them with that. So it's like you have the submissions with the main bonfire, you might also have mentors who charge for access to their particular mindset. And they can have all the money, and you can essentially that's the price pool. And basically you have this whole ecosystem where you have knowledge being aggregated, accessible through these exploratory frameworks, and fees growing this price pool over time, so it becomes more attractive to hack. And then you get more submissions, which grows the price pool. So that's the general idea. And then you can also use the outcomes of the agentic judges to go into what we call a hybrid judging, which is like the top every week or every month, and then humans get together and judge it and maybe invest in it. And these are the smart contracts, and we have this already, so you can use it. One more thing. I will show this today. Bit complex, but one of our biggest graphs has loads and loads and loads. It's been like 8 months now, which is a long time for an agent that has had like hundreds of people talking to it. It's still coherent and still works. And you can ask it, like, what about your communities? And so in here, it's basically said, we have these different clusters of people from the graph, just using the graph, like we have these different clusters, and here's some of the key topics around it. And this is like, if you're a nerd about it, this is really powerful for trees. You can have this with Ipê City Time Tree, where it's like, what are the clusters? And it's like, there's the AI hub, there's the family hub, there's this, and like, who's in it, and all this. And it's just like really cheap to do from the graph, it's really powerful to do from the graph. And so basically, I'm trying to incentivize you to put more into the graph. Okay, let's finalize this with some queries.
Yo, Joshua, we couldn't
any.
Yeah. So to be transparent with you guys, the way that we wanted originally to do all this on chain, so people could buy a bonfire in ETH and participate in the launching of the knowledge network by basically funding a token sale. And we can all do it on chain, and we can all own the protocol, and it will be great. You may or may not be aware, but it's impossible to raise on chain at the moment, unless you're a scam. Like real projects find it very difficult to raise on chain at the moment, from our experience, anyways. So we have unfortunately had to decide to go through the institutional funding route, and we are approaching VCs in the next week or so. So the way that we're doing this is bonfires.ai is a company that creates tech and sells it to users, right? Knowledge Network, which is the graph of all the graphs, the incentive mechanism. Knowledge Network is owned by DeSci World, which is my company from 5 years ago. And DeSci World is paying bonfires to launch Knowledge Network. So bonfires is a typical company that is generating revenue by selling bonfires to users, to enterprises, to teams, to businesses, and selling its service to DeSci World, who's going to pay bonfires for making Knowledge Network. And we're looking for investment for people to purchase shares in or equity in the bonfires company. So you can think of it a little bit like Consensus and Ethereum. In the early days of Ethereum, Consensus built MetaMask and a bunch of other stuff, and basically got paid a bunch of ETH for it. We're doing a similar model, but with the Knowledge Network and Knowledge Token. But we're also like a private company that's going to, make sales. So when it comes to what you just mentioned, we'll have a pricing model where if you want to be the middleman, where you go and find clients and get them to do the thing, then you can pay us. Or if you want to source us business, then we can go direct. We can do both.
Yeah, I'll just say we can come in for the model number 1. So I would integrate bonfire per client with OAuth or API and offer it to them as their private bonfire, right? Like I wouldn't have access, and I think it just makes business sense. And they would pay me, I'll pay you, and that would be, yeah. Because in that sense, I can also have a number of clients.
Yeah, and this is kind of the Trojan horse approach that we're taking, where we give everybody this tool, it's useful, people can make money from it, whatever, that's great. But at some point in the next year, we're going to have tokens, which if you have a graph, you can say, yeah, I want my graph to be discoverable because it's going to generate me revenue in this token. I'm going to farm the token yield, the emissions, by contributing my knowledge to the network. So the customers that you go for, right, if they want to have access to their graph, great. Then they have access to their graph, it's their graph, you just are the middleman that sets it up. You make money on that, that's cool. When the time comes that Knowledge Network is live, you can tell them, hey, look, you can actually connect to this thing. Perhaps you can be the middleman there helping them connect and take the money. Or, what would be mega bullish for you is the company doesn't care at all about what the data structure is. They just want a better solution. You could, in fact, be the steward of their bonfire. And then when it comes to connecting it to Knowledge Network, you can also be the steward of connecting it to Knowledge Network and take fees and do all the transparency stuff there as you wish. So there's some cool options, but the point is that we're giving people a tool that is useful. By using the tool, you create the knowledge graph, and then when the knowledge graph is available as a knowledge asset, you can do what you want and hopefully get money for it.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is like hiring an agent, but the agent has all the knowledge, and I got it. Super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, amazing.
Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. If you want to reach out to me, Stefano, other people now have my Telegram, please do. And please use the mind tree as we talk into it.
Yes. Let's use it.
Go.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your talk, for showing off your technology. We'll see you for the next time.
Yeah, ciao guys.
Okay, my mind is fired for today.
Really?
Too much AI.
That was a lot. A lot to process. I miss a lot of I propose that we get to Monday or Tuesday, like over the morning, usually for Friday. I think that a lot of people like we can do like a proper party, like games, and then explain the ball. This afternoon, around 3, we are planning to do like a smaller. We are gathering the most so there will be me, for example, we are building a new city, but like trying to have so like building foundation for other people.
No quick, long open mic. Are you guys on the
Like making plugins. Next
until today, I haven't seen Ryan I used to have one of our houses. You know, there's no guys.
Eu acho que eu consigo. Consegue me mandar qual que é o título? Consegue me mandar qual que é o título?
Digitais e dois arquivos lá.
Eu acho que estou numa rede que não está rolando.
Vai ter, né? Vai estar.
Guys, who wants to tell us what they're working on? We're gonna have open mic now. Okay, so is anyone new today? Has anyone not been at Ipê City Breakfast before? Cool. So we're gonna first do introductions of new people. So today and yesterday, actually, we had a little bit of a different format of the breakfast. Usually from 8 to 10, we have breakfast, and at 10 o'clock, we do open mic. Today, we had the talk from Bonfires, so we skip open mic, and then we're going to do open mic now. So this is going to be around 20 minutes to half an hour, so we're going to be done by noon, max, and then you guys are free to go for lunch. The way open mic works is we're gonna first get everybody that's new in the room to introduce themselves. Just a quick, my name, where am I from, what am I working on, so we get to know you. The second section is we're gonna do project updates, which is 5 minutes max, counting on the clock per project. Projects that have been building over the past few weeks, they're gonna update what they've been working on. And then last, we're gonna do new project ideas. So as you're watching open mic or as you're going through the talks, if you're getting inspired to build something and you haven't built anything yet, I'm gonna give you 1 minute to kind of pitch an idea so the other people know what you're working on, okay? So let's do introductions. You can get up and just say your name, where you're coming from, who you are, so we can meet you.
My name is Mariana. I'm a immunologist by training. I'm here from LA, but I actually live like most of my life here in Florianopolis, so it's great to be here doing that. And I'm not building anything and more exploring. I work with therapeutics and neuroregulation, and I'm curious just to see this new format and how I can apply my knowledge in a different way, in a different setting than the biotech startup systems that I've been exposed to.
Cool. Welcome to Ipê. Anyone else new? Isis, quer se apresentar, Isis? No? She's not new. She's actually one of our oldest Ipê City residents since like day zero. Right? She's been to all meetups, to the documentary launch and all stuff. Okay, so how many project updates do I have? Yoro is gonna do a project update. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 project updates. Yeah, you can do now. So we're gonna do 6 updates. Since it's 6, I'm gonna do 3 minutes only, okay? So we don't stay here forever. So my phone is gonna ring with 3 minutes, and then you can go a little over, but try not to take 10 minutes out of people, please. Are you gonna screen share?
Can I do the mirroring? No? Oh, I need the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you just need to connect to the Wi-Fi, do the screen mirroring. Someone can find my phone, then I can put the timer. Otherwise, start counting on your head. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh, and another thing, if you can take your plates and dirty stuff so that you can eat, you really appreciate. So if you're done breakfast, just put stuff up here and this is done. Yeah. So I'm gonna start 3 minutes. Do you want to send me the link and I can screen share?
How do you look? It doesn't connect.
Check your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, try the Samsung. Yeah, go back there.
Oh,
There you go.
amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
So 3 minutes and counting.
Okay, so if you listened yesterday, it's the same. It's just a reminder. Connect your Yodel app with the Ipê community QR code. This is the regular Yodel app that you can download. If it doesn't have the Brazil flag on top, get the update on the App Store. There's a new version. What you do next, you click the QR code at the bottom. You have to scan with this QR code, not with the camera. And then scan the QR code, which is amazing here.
This is how you pay Founder House if you get beer or anything.
Oh, this is to pay the fan house, but first, before you do that,
Okay.
an important step, scan this QR code, which I will post in a second. And then you're getting the Ipê community configuration. And everything you do now is sort of going into your Ipê